Yo, welcome back to another edition of the Cruising Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Cruz, and today is Sunday, July 30th. Goodness, we're almost out of August. Ah, gosh, this is going too quick. Okay, you
Mhm.
can. So today, you guys know Sunday. You know what that means. The Warrior Cast. That means new episodes of Warrior came out, and we had the Warrior Cast. Today, we are, as always, joined by the Maestro, Michael Carrell.
Well, I did used to play the saxophone, so I could have been a maestro at some point.
Oh my goodness. We
Yeah.
just this is just
The
what we
more
do.
you learn, the more you learn.
The talented Michael Carroll, but we're gonna get into that in a second. But where you can find the Cruising Podcast is at Apple Podcast, Spotify, Patreon, YouTube, and anywhere else you can find your podcast needs. That's where you can find the Cruising Podcast. Also, you can find latest updates of the show is on Instagram at Cruising Podcast, also on Twitter at Nicetown Finest. And Michael, where can they find you?
They can find me on social media, including X at producer Mike 975. That's a dumb name. And you can find Comic Cast, the podcast that I host with Jong Lee. We post that each and every week on all your favorite podcast platforms. That's Comic Cast, COMICAST.
Comic Cast. And what have we been talking about on Comic Cast lately?
It's mainly been Secret Invasion related still. We actually, so we're, like you said, we're recording this on Sunday, July 30th. We're recording issue 496 on Monday, July 31st, with the release date of August 1st in mind. And Jong's going to be out for that one. So I have writer Alicia Gilstorf. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, Alicia. I'll find out tomorrow when I record. But Alicia is a writer for Telltale TV, and she was covering Secret Invasion for the site. So invited her on to see and talk about Secret Invasion, the season finale that occurred last week, and then kind of a look back at Secret Invasion. So it's been mainly Secret Invasion focused as of late, and it continues with this week's issue of Comic Cast.
And Alicia, so hold just wanted to put this out there. Telltale, like the video game series?
Yeah, you would think that. No, it's not the video game
Ah,
series,
I
but
was
it's
like,
it's similar. Tell dash
mm,
Tail TV. So if you
got
want to go check out their work, they have a ton of great writers over there at Telltale TV. I've worked with another writer, I should say, named Melody. She helped me with the Mandalorian, one of the Mandalorian episode recaps, and she was phenomenal. So check out the folks at Telltale TV. Not related to the
speaking
video game series.
speaking of writers, Michael
Oh,
Carroll,
oh yes.
what have you been up to with the
Well,
writing?
I so yes, I did start a Substack for folks if they want to go check it out. I think if you just search Michael Carroll or producer Mike 975, or Thoughts from a Nerd, that's the name of it. Um, I actually started it at the beginning of this year and then proceeded to not use it for 6 months. And then I finally posted something back at the end of June, but I didn't really like put it out there or anything like that. Just kind of setting the stage of what I hoped it would be and what I kind of want it to be. And then I actually posted like the first big article this past what was that, Tuesday? And it was all about Warrior, what we're going to be talking about today, and Warrior to that point through episode 6. Um, yeah, I hope people like it. There's still a lot that needs to be improved in terms of my writing. I was kind of redundant. I was kind of what else did Ashley say I needed to improve on? Like the structure was okay, but like there's some areas I need work on. But it's something that I've always been interested in doing. And so it was kind of had the itch to write. And so I started a Substack. So if you want to check it out, feel free.
Then that information will be on the description of this episode. To make sure, go check out Michael Carroll's writing of Warrior, because he tells you why you actually should be watching the show
It's
and why
true.
the show should be consumed by everyone. And one more thing. I was kind of interested by seeing this on HBO Max on Max app. Um, is it weird that they stopped like advertising the companion podcast? Because they used to
Um,
advertise it all the time, like
it's
before every episode.
I guess they put it at the end now. Like it's at the
Oh,
very end, but why I don't know why they put it at the end, I don't know because yeah, it would make more sense to
mm,
put it at the beginning. Kind of like how they did with I mean, at least I'm pretty sure they did that with Last of Us and a lot of the shows that they do. Typically you would put it at the beginning because that's when you're gonna grab most people.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, I don't know. But I stayed through the end of the credits and it they posted it a screenshot of it at some point. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I mean they did show like listen to the companion podcast at some
oh,
point.
because I was about to say now that they got, I guess because of the writer strike and they can't really talk about it. I was like, the official podcast of Warriors now, Warrior Cast.
Oh,
My
yeah,
bad.
that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah,
But
that's a good point. Maybe that's why it's not getting the run that it was. I don't know. I hadn't listened to it because I was listening to our Warrior cast. Hey.
just like y'all know, this is the official now. Oh, no, no, please don't sue us.
Yeah, no, no, no,
Sue
no.
me actually. Sorry.
Please
But
don't.
I don't have any money.
Same. I don't have a lawyer. I can't afford one.
But so you did a writing on the Warriors TV show, which is amazing. I got to read through it. I thought it was good.
Oh,
Then
thanks,
again,
man.
I'm not an English major, so you know, I I thought it was
Neither was
good
I.
writing.
So, yeah, I
It
tried my
worked
best,
out.
man. I
Yeah.
tried. I tried.
It's okay to do something new. That's what happened with me starting my podcast. I literally looked at it for a couple of weeks and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna do it.
Just
Pretty
got to
much.
do it. Just got to
Mhm.
jump in and do it at some point, you know?
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta put both feet in and see what happens.
Right? Exactly.
All right, so there was one, okay, but we've had YouTube comments from no, I'm sorry if I'm gonna butcher this name. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna say your last name is Lee. I did not know this about last episode. About but she said, or he, I'm hoping he or she said, another great episode and breakdown. You know that this episode was the 50th anniversary of Bruce Lee's death. His daughter
Oh.
Shannon got a cameo as the boy's mom and crushed those. I think the Germans, those German guys
Oh,
with
that
the
was
pickaxe.
Shannon. Oh, man. I did
Yeah,
not that's so cool.
I said that is awesome. I said I didn't know that. I actually did not know that was the 50th anniversary of his death. And that was it. How appropriate to have his daughter play a pretty much a central role at the end there with the
Mhm.
pickaxe and getting her revenge for her son.
That's a cool I mean, I that's a cool touch to the episode. I didn't realize it was the 50th anniversary either. Um, but yeah, like that subtlety, not subtlety, but like what's the word? But like just having Shannon involved in that way is really cool. It's just really cool.
I thought
I
it
know
was.
she's involved with the show, but
Mhm.
to have her like on screen, I guess, is really
Oh
cool.
yeah, yeah. I think that yeah, that's right. She's been like she's a producer, right? She was a producer of the show or
Mhm,
something like that. So
mhm.
that, which is good. I mean, now you're doing it from the writings of Bruce Lee. I guess you should be using, some type of family member to be
Yeah,
part of
right.
it.
Yeah.
So, but I thought that was a pretty cool touch. I didn't know that was his 50th anniversary of his death. Still a conspiracy behind that. Just putting it out there. But and yeah, that's the only really comment I seen from last week about the last week's episode. So thank you. I don't want to butcher your name. I'm going to say the last name, Lee. Thank you for your comments. Please continue to listen to the Warrior Cast and continue leaving comments because we're going to read them right here. All right. So
Mhm.
now we're going to start off with the show. I mean, with this episode. What episode? This episode 7 or 6? Episode
Episode
7.
7. Mhm,
Episode 7. I knew it was,
mhm.
and I put it out there. Um, oh, so we start off with Father June, really, literally right after Father June getting shot by the
Mhm,
Germans and
mhm.
being sent. I mean, they pretty much get back to Hopaway territory with the shot and everything. Apparently, he got to a doctor, and got the bullet out of his stomach, and a lot of things kind of ensued after this, especially with Father June. It's kind of weird what's going on with him. What did you think about? So the thing I got from this scene was when kind of Assam was trying to smooth things over with Young Jun, saying, "Yeah, he did a really good job. He was amazing out there." And like you see Young Jun look at him, give him that little fake smile, and then after he turns around, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, man, I'm gonna kill you, man. I'm gonna kill you for this."
Yeah, that was the look, right? Like that look that young June. At first, it's like acknowledging, like, thank you. That like that's a nice thing to say, but then it quickly switches to, it's all your fault. And I think I said it last week, but I've been saying it throughout the course of us doing this show. I felt like young June, and Assam were on a collision course to collide with each other in some way, some form, hit a barrier that they just can't work through. And it seems like Father June is that for them. Like it now seems like what I thought would have been something that would have broken them earlier, like whether it was the reveal of Myling and Assam being siblings, or just some of the other things that young June has learned. He still has been with Assam throughout all of that, right? But
Hmm.
then this is like that final thing where it's like there's no coming back, possibly. He just, you know, Assam, if he had just done what he was supposed to do, they would have come
Hmm.
back. Father June be fine, but he didn't. But I don't think he's wrong in doing what he did. But it's now put young June in a position of like, it's supposed to be the hop way. Like that's what we're supposed to be. And you put the tong before everything else. That doesn't matter, Assam. That we should have just done our thing and left. And it maybe cost him his dad in a sense. But of course they didn't play it like where he just straight up dies or anything like that. No, it went to I would argue, even more heartbreaking route that I didn't
Hmm.
expect to see coming, with Father June seemingly losing his mind, hallucinating, like that. That took a turn, man. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to. It seemed like he's having fever dreams and kind of like having those hallucinations and things. And I think this is, and we saw by the end of the episode, we see like young June seeing his father as cowering, kind of like being weak in some ways. I think this is probably his first time in his life where his dad kind of like isn't that strong figure in his life right now, and it kind of I want it has to mess with him because that's kind of his hero, and it sucks
Mhm.
seeing your hero kind of like becoming weaker and right in front of your eyes. Literally, he's losing his mind. His brain is deteriorating. His health is deteriorating clearly, and you see him like weak for the first time. Like you rather had seen like the last part of him, last time he saw him like walking away, going up north. That's probably would have been better for him, or whenever they were ready to die together inside the deportation camp. Like either or would have been better for young June than seeing his father like literally deteriorating in front of his eyes, and like now wondering like I can't lean on him anymore. Now there's no leaning on him no more. I'm on my own. I had Assam. Assam was somebody I could have leaned on. Now he's trying to use Hung as the new like his new guy, and it's just like Hung doesn't know where he wants to be now. Like Hung is in the middle of this, and it's kind of sucks because that's not his type of character. He's kind of like the oh man, I'm gonna go along with everybody else type deal, and it's just young June now is on his own. It feels like making decisions which I think are about to be really bad decisions because he makes emotional decisions that have no thought process behind it, and this is definitely going to spell this definitely kind of spells the end of their brotherhood, in my opinion, especially the Hopway. This might actually kill off the Hopway if this goes wrong.
If anything, it'll definitely kill whatever relationship Assam and young June had to this point. It just seems like, I don't know that it's irreparable at this point, but it definitely is pretty, s- you know, I don't know what the word is, but it's bad. It's
Mm,
just to say the least. The relationship is very bad right now. And with Hong, like I think he would lean more Assam because
mm,
of his relationship with the singer. I forget the singer's name, so I apologize. So I just say the singer.
mhm,
Um,
uh,
but I think that's going to come to a head at some point because, like the singer said, that they were extending their stay in San Francisco, and so they'll be able to be around each other for a little bit longer. But
mhm,
once that residency wraps up, is Hong gonna just let them go? I don't know that. I feel like Hong would go with them, or if anything, the singer would push Hong to be like, you're more than just the Tong. You're more than just Hop Way. You're a good person deep down, and we could discover the world together, kind of thing, right?
mhm,
And I think that more aligns with what Assam believes than what Young June believes. So it may come a point where Hong has to choose a side and he's put in a precarious position, but I could see him more aligning with Assam, and then it becomes Assam and Hong versus the rest of the Tong. Um, which I don't know. Well, I don't know if it would be a straight up fight or if it would just be like a just you're exiled or whatever the case, or we're gonna kill you. It's probably gonna result in a fight of some kind. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But I just wanted to quickly go back to the Father June stuff because the Father June stuff, it really like hit home for
uh,
me just because in what was this 2021, my grandmother, I was taking care of her, and she started having like hallucinations and things like that, kind of not quite to the extent of Father June,
mhm,
but it was definitely like similar in that like she's seeing people and she's seeing this, seeing that, and it's like I don't, and like you said, it's tough to see people that you deem as your heroes or you look up to or whatever become like where they can't take their like they can't take care of themselves, or they I don't know what, it's not that they you can't look at them or anything like that. It's just it's
mhm,
sad to see these people that were so strong in your life become a shell of themselves, if you will. And it's just
mhm,
it's tough, man. It's real tough to see. So like with young June seeing that for his dad, and he's doing his best to just take care of him, like looking for him and like putting him to bed and like trying to console him, like, hey, it's you're not on the ship, you're not like there's no cannons, you're fine. It was very similar to what I was doing with my grandmother, where she was like, she one night thought she was falling out of her chair, and I was like, no, 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 you're fine, you're laying back, like you're not close to falling. And it's like trying to console that person. That hit so much for me, like in terms of it's I mean,
mhm,
it's kinda how it plays out. My grandmother couldn't move around, so I didn't have to worry about the, like, walking away, but I can only imagine the scariness of, like the guy said, like, "It was Father June, what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna stop him."
mhm,
But young June knows, like, something's wrong with him, and he needs to go get him. Um, and same thing with Lee Yong, he knew something was wrong, and instead of taking advantage of the situation, he brought him back, which was very like, again, like, Lee Yong he is a member of the Long Z and stuff like that, but he has a heart, I guess, at the end of the day.
'cause I like that scene with him walking him back and, like,
Mhm.
taking care of Father June because that's a scene that, you know, most different communities haven't really shown, like, "Alright, well, we're at war with each other." But well, I guess you can't really say they're at war, they're business partners right now, but they've had a long-standing hatred towards each other, and for, uh, Lee Young to, like, put all that aside and actually help out Father June knowing that there's something clearly wrong with him and actually helping him. I think maybe taking care of Long Z to begin with probably helped them out with
Yeah,
this situation, but also like he's kind of like Assam and he's him and Assam are kind of the same, where they actually care about their people, not just the Tong, but Chinese as a whole. And when you see one of them down, they're gonna go and help them no matter what. And it seems like that's what it seemed like with Father June. Like, all right, well, he's probably killed scores of my Tong, but I can't. What honor is it to kill him right here or take him hostage? There's no honor in this, and that's what it
Mhm.
seems like with Lee Young, is that there's an honor system, and he actually abides by it. Now, if it was Mai Ling that found Father June like that, I think this is a whole different story. I think this starts a war in Chinatown, and the the warrior spirit of Lee Young to me was what helped him be able to take care of Father June, and Father June at the end of the day respects the warrior aspect of everyone, and that's probably why he kind of leaned on Lee Young right there, and why he maybe kind of cowered away from Young June, because he probably sees him as a threat. He's probably has seen him as a threat because how he took the Tong in the first place. So
Yeah.
I think I think we're I think it's going to be it's subtly happening, but I think Lee Young is about to take over that Tong at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think with just Lee Young in general, it's just like you kinda mentioned, like he is a warrior at the end of the day. He's more about honor, respect,
Hmm.
and he's not gonna take advantage of that situation. Like, that's the like you said, there's no honor in that. Um, I think he just saw like a broken man, like something's wrong with him. There's nothing right about this situation. I'm just going to take him back. And I think even if they weren't in partnership, if they were in the middle of their war, I could still see Lee Yong doing that. I
Hmm.
don't, Mei Ling, I don't know that she would. She would probably play it to her best advantage. So I wonder if that presents a problem with Lee Yong and
Hmm.
Mei Ling in some way. Like, you had Father June and you just let him go. Like, I don't know if like she would play it that way. I don't know that they would play that angle up either anyway, just because they do have the wedding coming up. I think the wedding is next episode. So, I mean, maybe that's something that's not going to amount to, like, maybe it's just a respect factor between Young June and Lee Yong at the end of the day.
Hmm.
Because they don't even say anything, right? Like, it's just a subtle like nod, like,
Yeah.
I know, thank you. Gives him his jacket back. Like, that was the other thing. Leon gave him his jacket, walked him back. Like, it was very, very kind what Lee Yong does, and he's genuinely another person that's, I think, one of the better people in terms of being a genuine good person. I think at the end of the day, I mean, he does fight and he isn't a tong or whatever, but I think the honor and respect factor is big for him.
And with I mean, like, Young Jin could at least said thank you for not, you know, kidnapping my father. That was my
He could
goodness.
have,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
you could have audibly said thank you. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
I
I
understand.
think it was yeah, it coulda, I was waiting for him to say thank you, but it was like, I think it was just I think when they give each other that look of, like, kinda
I
like a
understand.
nod or whatever, I think that's basically like a thank you.
Oh,
That's the best they're gonna get between the 2 of them since they're rivals, but I think both of them understood the magnitude of that situation.
And I'm excited to see this next episode about this wedding. 'Cause I already know it's gonna be an ish show. I know it's gonna be really, really bad scene for someone.
I don't think it's gonna be a red wedding of any kind, but you never know. I don't think it'll be that. I think it'll actually be like a good wedding, possibly,
Mm.
but I mean, we'll have to wait and see.
All right, so I'm gonna move over to a toy, having to fight off those the other brothel. What was his name? Ming Lu? Was his name
Ming
Ming
Yu.
Lu?
Ming
Ming
Yu.
Yu?
Mhm.
I had it written down too. Fighting off Ming Yu and Lai having to kick somebody. It was one of his goons off of the banister.
No, she kicks him off. She
Oh, it
kicks
was
him.
him. Oh,
Yeah,
dang, it was him.
she roundhouse kicks him in the face, and that man goes flying over the banister. It was magnificent. It was great.
It a toy didn't look too injured fighting that during that fight. So maybe she's getting maybe she's getting a little more healthier. Yeah, y'all about to get a 100% a toy right now, and I'm hoping that we see that soon too with the Strickland situation. I'm really hoping that we see a 100% of Toy uh do some work toward probably next couple episodes. But
Yeah.
I like that it's like he tried to get his girls back and she just gave him like pocket change.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I think Ming Yu, he was an interesting add to the dynamics of everything because I don't think he's done. Like, I don't see that man going off quietly now with the way things shook out between him and a toy. From the jump, though, like, his whole thing is, "Oh, that white woman stole my property.
Mhm.
I want them back." And obviously, the toy's like, "No, it's not I kept them safe and they're with me." Like, no, that's not happening, bro. And she is getting back to 100%, but she still got caught like by Ming Yu when he put the
Mhm.
blade to her in a certain way and had it towards her neck. So she's not quite there yet because I think if a toy was at 100%, she would have handled Ming Yu.
Mhm.
But of course, Lai comes through the bodyguard. I forget his name. Comes through, just like hammer fists that dude in the back of the head, like, oh god. And yeah, Lai comes through with a ridiculous kick. And then, like, I guess, the other aspect to this is Ming Yu is in Long Z territory, a toys in Hop Wei territory. So that's why there is a need for a mediator in Mai Ling.
Mhm.
And I think, like, even though he is part of her territory, she respects a toy and, like, understands her significance and importance. And also it's like, just like, he's calling women property and stuff like that. Like, my Ling's probably not gonna have that, you know? It's just,
Mhm.
yeah, no, bro. Yes, you do work for me, but, like, I'm not having that here. Um, and I think she kind of help. I don't want to say helps, but she does help direct the situation of, like, a toy has given you more than what you owe, or more than what you want or expect or whatever. Like, you don't really deserve anything, so you're lucky you're getting this bag, and it's like,
I
this isn't even like enough. And it's like, well, that's for the table that you
table.
broke.
He said it's owe me
Shouldn't
for
have
the
broke that
table. I was
table.
said, but with your body. Yeah,
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 with your
yeah, yeah.
body. Yeah,
With your body, I kicked you over. And
yeah.
I like the later on scene with Toy and Asab where they were like, what happened to the table? He said it's normally my job.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and
uh
he gives her, like, what was it? He gives her, like, a smile too that I thought was funny. And yeah, it was like the smile that he gave, and uh talking about that situation, because they both have situations in this episode in terms of
mhm,
kicking people out and whatnot. And it's funny, like, it's just funny to see their dynamic from where it was at the beginning of the show to now. There's just a like, they're just, at the end of the day, like, just trying to hold everything together, and they're coming together and just talking about all the drama drama that they're having. And they're both going to the wedding, which is nice.
mhm. Now, will they be going together? No, no. Hold on, because I already know my link is like sowing those seeds to kind of like mess with the printer's daughter a little bit. Like I'll there's some seeds being planted everywhere, especially by my link. Like she, this wedding is going to be something. I'm really kind of curious. Like this seems like a big mind game right now with this whole wedding situation. So
Mhm.
especially you're about to have young June there, and then you're going to see Assam with the I had her name written down. I swear I had her name written down.
Yanmei
Um,
or Yanmi.
Yami. Yep,
Mhm.
Yami. And there's that, and then you have a toy. It's just I can't wait to see this episode now. Now I'm
I
excited.
The way she, like, invites people, it made me like, is this a
Mm-mm.
trap of some kind? It had me a little like, I don't know, like, because the way she approaches Assam about it, it's like, oh no, I want you there for my to as my brother, like that's what I want you to be there for. But it's
Mhm.
hard to take her at face value at this point because just her demeanor and tone just felt like, is this a game or do you actually want me there? And same thing with the toy, like that whole situation with her inviting her to the wedding and stuff like that. It has us a little like, I think she's being genuine, but I could see it the other way too.
Because she's like, "Yeah, you know I'm getting married, right?" Like, "No? Why would I know this? I don't
Mhm.
why would you just it just, you know I'm getting married." I'm like, I think she approached both of them like that, like, "You know I'm getting married, right?" Or something, like, pretty much that type of question. I'm like, what's your game here? I need to know your game," because I don't think any
Mhm.
of them see the game, but she's definitely playing some type of role. I mean, some type of game with this wedding situation. I'm just, hmm. Either that or she's trying to kill off the other song
Yeah,
with
maybe.
some
That's
way.
why I was like, I don't know if it's gonna be a red wedding situation. I don't think so. I think she does want it to just be an actual wedding, not like a secret ploy or anything like that. But you
Mhm.
just, I mean, with Myling, it's just hard to say, um, because she's one of the characters that I feel like is always planning or playing a game of some kind. Like you said, she's sowed the seeds for distrust between Assam and Young Jun. Like she's even though they're in peace, she's still playing the game and trying to wear down the Hop Way in a different way and causing a rift between Assam and Young Jun. And it seems to be working as Young Jun like seems to like have a vague threat towards Yeon-mi with
Mhm.
the "You're gonna train my men," and, "Oh, if but you just gotta be careful because we don't want anything to happen to you. Because what if something happened to you?" Like, it was very much a veiled threat at her, um, for their,
Do, do you think he has some type of idea like she might be actually stealing that money, or like he's probably worried about her stealing that money at some point?
he might be looking for an excuse for
Mm.
her to, like, get rid of her,
And,
and that might be the thing because obviously Yeonmi did show Assam that money,
mhm.
and that's probably gonna blow up. That's something that Young June would probably find in some way or one of the Hopway find, um, maybe just by searching her room or whatever.
'Cause I like what she was saying to Assam, like like we've been saying all for this whole season, really. Like she's really been trying to show Assam that other side, like you're a symbol of hope for the Chinese people, and you're
Mhm.
not just a thug. And then, like we've been saying, like Assam's been playing both of those sides. Like, do I want to be a thug or do I want to be a hero? And she finally like verbalized it to him, like you're just trying to, you don't know which side of it you want to be on. That's why things are kind of blowing up in your face sometimes.
Mhm, and he just wants to do what's right at the end of the
Mhm.
day, what's right for the Chinese people. He wants to do what's right by Chinatown, and that's what he was showcasing in episode 6. He just wants to do the right thing and help people, and he's I think he I think deep down he realizes that, but it's again that sense of identity. Is it is it really what you want? Is it really what you want to be a Hopway member?
Mhm.
I don't think it is, bro. Like, I think it's just keeping people safe and keeping everything under control. Um, that's what that is for you. And Yeonmi is gonna be maybe the one that shakes him out of that, and
Mhm.
makes him realize he means more to people. He's not just a tool for fighting. He's not just a hatchet man. He's not just here to dice people. No, he means more to everyone, to a lot of people in a lot of ways. Like Leary said to him, like the kid that he kind of like slaps around, like they respect him. He's got a giant 10-foot portrait. They respect him in so many ways, because he of what he does for the people at the end of the day. Yes, he is Hop Way, but he's more than that. And I think Yon Mi is helping him see that he's more than that because I guess I don't know if it's like not a low self-esteem, but it's just something where it's in his head. Maybe it's like I can't confront this about myself or a reluctant. Lee trying to convince himself that he's more. I don't know. It's just a combination of things, I think.
He's having like a identity crisis right now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
do I want to be a thug? Do I want to be this? It's just I hope that she helps him, but I think her death is going to like push him over that thug edge.
I hope she doesn't die. I mean, that could be very well on the table. I could see that being the thing that breaks Assam from fighting with Young June to fighting Young June. I could
Mhm,
see that be the case. Um, because yeah, I mean, but like also Assam when he's fighting for the people or for what's right, he's unstoppable, it feels like. When he was
mhm.
fighting, I've related it to this moment in season 1 so much, but when he's fighting for the Hop Way in season 1 against Lee Yong, he doesn't stand a chance. Like he's in it for a little bit, but he doesn't stand a chance at the end of the day because he really doesn't believe in the Hop Way. But when he fights Leary, when he fights in the riot, when he fights the cops um earlier this
Yeah.
season, he when he believes, he's arguably unstoppable. Of course, he did like beating up the Longzhi at the very beginning of this episode or this season. So
Yeah.
he did believe it in that sense too. But I just think when he is fighting for what he believes is right, he's
Mhm.
an unstoppable force for Chinatown, and that's going to come to a head with Young June at some point because of putting Father June in danger, because of now pretty much a lot of people seem to know that Yeonmi and Assam have a thing. So it's really going to put things in question for the two of them.
Oh, for sure. I'm definitely thinking. I guess it's just morbid. I mean, I don't mean to be morbid about it, but
Yeah.
that I think it's going to take that turn with her because if something happens to Father June, he's got to get his get back, and well, Young June will have to get his get back. That's why he's having her teach his people how to print right now, or might try to use the brother who the younger brother who almost made a drastic mistake
Yeah.
this episode. So um I also like that, going somewhere else with Larry, like you started to talk about Larry. I like that he is making that character change where what we've been talking about, like I think he's figuring out we can't settle everything violently anymore. We have to try to settle it out with our voices, with talking to each other. And I like that he kind of took a political step really by walking down into Chinatown for the first time. I don't know how long he's been in San Francisco, but for that to be his first time to walk into probably like a block away and
Yeah.
you walk there and that's your first time doing it and you're talking to Assam, which is interesting in itself because why is it Assam talking? Oh, well, is this after Young June went chasing after Father June? No, it couldn't have been. Was it? It might have been.
Um, I have to look again.
Okay.
I forget if that was right after. Let's see. Because
I
he
think
starts looking for him. Yeah, I think that Leary heads to Chinatown. That's before Father June goes missing.
that's crazy that it's Assam that's the one that's walking out having this conversation and not Young June. Because I think that conversation would have definitely went left
Oh
if that
yeah,
was Young June.
it would have definitely went sideways had it been Young June. When and Leary and Assam though, they understand the people and like trying to because they also know the devastation from that day. Both
Mhm.
sides lost a lot of people, and they don't want to see that happen again.
And that's what I like about what this was new Leary, kind of like it's just when he slammed the chair down to get everybody's attention inside the pub. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go walk down and talk to him. All right, cool. Go down, talk to him. And the message that I like at the end of their conversation was, these politicians just want to see us tear each other apart. And what was it that Assam was like, but who's going to build the cities? Who are they going to have to build the
Mhm.
cities? And they said, well, they're going to find somebody desperate enough to do it. And
Mhm.
it seems like it was a message for today also, like with our political climate here in America today,
Yeah.
it just seems like it's speaking volumes inside of this show right now. And I really this is what's so great about the show, is that it has different messages that really do compare to today. Like it seems like America's been going through this forever, really. So
Mhm.
it seems like everybody's breaking out of their stereotypes though, from what we've seen from season one to now, because Assam probably would have fought him season one. Assam probably would have fought him right away. Season one, Larry would have fought him or brought all his people down to Chinatown after
Mhm.
finding out, they got attacked right away. But now we're in season three, we're in this season, and they're not fighting each other, they're actually sitting down and talking to each other. It shows that like the character growth has been exponential throughout this whole entire series, and I completely applaud that from the creators.
Yeah, Leary's definitely at a point where it's like, I'm not gonna use my fists to solve every problem. And you
Mm,
just can't. Like, as we saw earlier this season, he's taken a lot of damage over the years, and even those kids kind of got a hit on him that left him kind of shook for a little bit.
mhm,
So with Strickland's teachings, he realizes he needs to do more than just fight everything and fight everybody or lead to riots and things like that. Because really, what did the riot do? It didn't really, outside of just like like he mentioned, like both people losing friends and family members and stuff like that on both sides. It just resulted in that. I mean, what was the and it really inspired the Chinatown to rally around Assam and in different ways. So it's like, instead of doing that, we got to approach it a different way. And again, he's applying the teachings that I think Strickland has provided him,
oh yeah.
because he also makes it a point to go visit Chief Atwood and
Mhm.
try and appeal to him about getting the kids let out. And that's Chief Atwood really pissed off Leary.
Di
Leary was not having it with that dude, but he maintained, composure. I think he would have flipped out at some point. He maintained composure, but I think Chief Atwood is, I don't want to say a target, but he's definitely not on Leary's high up list.
but in my opinion, in with that scene alone, I know that Chief Atwood has been very brutal against the Chinese, but
Mhm.
you kinda get a new I know he's been brutal. I hope no one takes this out of context. I know he's been very brutal to the Chinese, but I kind of got a little bit more respect for him because he was fair about getting those guys put in jail and keeping them in jail. And
Mhm.
when Larry asked him, you're not Irish, are you? He's like, no, I'm American. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, okay. I respect you a little bit more because you have been brutal against the Chinese, which is unexcusable, but you're also putting away the Irish to whenever they start doing wrong, and you're not bending from that. And I kind of respect that a little bit more from him. Like I had a little bit more respect for him for like actually doing his job correctly and putting criminals away. Yeah, because I like he said, I've been down. He said I've been down and out like them boys, and you didn't see me go start robbing people just because. Like he said, I'm part of
Mhm.
law and order. That's my job, and I'm glad that he's not corrupt. He seems uncorruptible, which is I think that that's what the city of San Francisco needed at this point.
Mhm. Yeah, he's well, he says he's like, law and order, but then he almost kills Young June for and kind of challenge it. So it's like, like I believe it and then I don't. And it's like, I don't know, man. I don't believe you. I'm not a Leary fan, but I really want Leary to punch you in the face right now. Um, but I could see Leary maybe pulling strings to get Bill back into his spot. And maybe that's with the relationship that Leary Strickland are having with Buckley. Maybe that's something that um, Leary can pull the strings to making happen. Because obviously Bill's not enjoying what he's doing right now.
No.
And no, not at all. And Leary is definitely not about Chief Atwood, and I could see maybe Leary and Strickland pulling some strings now that they have Buckley kind of in their pocket to
Hmm.
saying, Buckley, yeah, you did want this dude, but no, we're not having it. We want Bill in the spot. He should be in the spot over this dude, and that may come to a head sooner.
It seems like every time, like especially me, when I say like a different entity is going to take out another entity, like with the Thayer situation, I'm thinking it's going to be Catherine, and it's actually Strickland that gets him out of it. I mean,
Yeah.
gets him out of the race, and then you have probably possibly Atwood is probably going to be unseated by once again Strickland. It seems like when you do have outward influences that actually need this help, actually need someone out of the way, it seems like it's been Strickland the one that's been getting things done. And so now
Mhm.
I believe that Strickland is going to get everybody out doing things. I just it's Strickland. I don't believe in any other outside influences. It's going to be Strickland because apparently he has some sway on over everyone right now, and it's like you see it by getting Thayer out of the managerial race. So
Mhm.
a managerial, what is going on, mayoral race. But with the O'Hara situation, he definitely, I'm surprised that he wanted a desk job, to tell the truth. Like I guess maybe because he's done walking the street, he's been walking the street as a beat cop. But
Yeah, and it
I'm
probably pays a little bit more,
that makes sense. That
you
makes
know.
sense. But clearly his wife likes that he's doing the concrete. Yeah.
She made it a point to be, "Oh, I got a big, strong man in the house now." Ooh.
So yeah, there's benefits. Did he lie and say that he's doing better than the guys half his age?
Yes, he did. Yeah, I typed in my notes "lies" when he said that. It's just like, "Lies," because no, he is not. In fact, the people half his age are complaining about him, for his lack of I mean, I get it, like, that's a tough, tough job that he's doing right now, and while Horace is, like, giving him a bone with this job and stuff like that, it seems like there's a underlying disdain or something for Horace and Bill, and so it was just like Bill's really pissed off with this dude every time Horace, like, just opens his mouth and talks, and he's just like, "Oh, I can't stand this Horace guy."
Because it seemed like what was the season? It was this season, right? When they had a conversation about him working for him, and it just seems like Bill was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna need you to get out of my face." Like
Yeah,
it gave it
yeah.
that look, like, no, I don't
Mhm.
do that. And
That's why I think, like, Leary maybe comes in and gets Bill out of there to
mhm.
become chief again, and, like, Bill has a moment where he could just, like, throw the boots, like, across the room or something like that, like, he's just, "I'm out of here, this is ridiculous," and just flips the table or something, I don't know, he's gonna do something when he quits.
Yes, I
Right,
hope
yeah.
so. Because it seems like this is like get back for Horace for like all the times that O'Hara's been like rude to him, and inside of his own house at that. So it's like it just seems like him being rude to him. This is his time to get him back. Like, yeah, you know what? You're gonna be picking up concrete today, and you might want to get these type of pants and shirts and things like that. It's like, oh, I thought I was working. No, no, you're working in the concrete today.
Nope.
Mm. And speaking of the with the I guess going on to Lee, Chow, and Abigail, the new murder three that we have here. Goodness gracious, that triple threat. I thought, and we said this last week. I thought we weren't going to see him for a whole episode. Like it was going to be a traveling episode. They're going to travel
Right.
back, and we're not going to get check in with them right away, almost right away.
They took the overnight train, I guess, I don't know.
They definitely took a midnight train from Georgia this time.
Something,
And
yeah, yeah.
and did you see that come? Well, did you really see that coming? Like even when Happy Jack was talking and things like that, it didn't still feel like all right, well, he's probably going to talk a lot of trash and like she's going to start putting pieces in her head together. I didn't think the pieces was going to get put in pretty much right then and there. And
Yeah, I didn't expect, like, basically for them to trap Happy Jack right then and there, and Chow and threaten him and all that. But I also didn't expect Abigail to pull out the shotgun on him and blast him, because we also in this episode we understand more about the relationship between Happy Jack and Abigail. And Abigail was obviously married to Happy Jack's brother, and sounds like he was a decent man,
Mhm.
who is another thing that's reflected nowadays, killed by the cops.
Yes, that's what.
And he's not doing anything. He's hassled by a group of white guys, and then turns out he's the one that gets shot.
That's what kind of got me too. I actually wrote that down on my notes, and I was like, he died from discrimination, and it's kind of crazy that
Mhm.
she's in love with a ex-white cop.
Yeah, yeah,
That and it kind of gets you thinking, like that's why they didn't want badges around. Like when they were talking about it earlier, maybe it wasn't because of Happy Jack's business practices. It was probably because of their their relationship clearly with the cops from a past. So
yeah.
it was cool seeing her backstory finally. Like we get finally
Mhm.
got a backstory on her. I kind of want to see what Mosley is going to do with Lee. Like how is Mosley going to really work Lee back into trying to get these plates?
That was the other surprising kind of return, if you will.
Mhm.
Like, Mosley did in fact survive. I didn't expect nothing less. Now he's got this gnarly scar on the side of his face. Um, yeah, the friendly relationship between him and Lee has quickly gone away.
Oh yeah.
Uh, because it's like again, he just wants the plates, and he sees Lee as an asset to get those plates. And he's like, "I don't care. Like, I don't care what you want. I'm gonna get these plates, and you're gonna help me, because
Mhm.
I am the Secret Service." Like, he pulled out the Secret Service card, and he's gonna make it a point. Like, there is no sugarcoating. There's no like talking that man down. He is gung ho about these plates, and he again. I mean, I guess it shouldn't be shocking either, because he did torture that one dude. He's done some despicable things
Yeah.
to get these plates back. So it would make sense that he kind of forces Lee's hand. And I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he did something more drastic to force Lee's hand. He just threatened him with you know,
Murder
getting
charge.
the charges away and all that. So, um, because I think he knows, like, I don't think your family forgave you. I think they're dead.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty
So,
sure he just killed all the all the male family members, and Chow killed
mhm.
the only lady.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's it's good. It was my bad.
No, no, you're good. I was just gonna say, yeah, and I think he probably doesn't suspect Chow in terms of like the murders either. I think he just suspects Lee committed them in some way, um, and I don't know if he's gonna be vindictive towards Chow, maybe not, or if they're. I guess because he didn't see what happened with Chow and Lee, and threatening like how that whole situation first started off. So Mosley will probably not like go at Chow necessarily, but he wants those plates, so he's going to find a way to get those plates.
I wonder. I'm wonder during the wedding we might get a little bit more they might get a little bit more leeway since like everybody's going to be at the wedding now. They could probably toss some of the places that like wondering where the wedding clearly is going to be. I wonder if they're going to like toss a bunch of different people's places, maybe actually look into the printer shop and start searching through there. I wonder if that's going to be like part of that episode also, because like they didn't
Mm.
thoroughly check the printer shop, and there's only probably
Yeah,
one of those that's in Chinatown, but I think
yeah.
they're gonna be wrong about it, so
I didn't think about that because maybe they're the ones that find the money that Yanmi's hiding.
ooh.
Ooh, that could be
That could be bad
bad.
news bears.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
could be very bad. Um, and there was a preview at the end of this episode, and it does briefly show Lee and Mosley, just briefly, but it's just one line where it's like Mosley says to Lee, man, the Long Z really know how to throw a party. And then that's it. That's all we get. So I don't know if they're just seeing it, and then like you said, then they go off and like do their reconnaissance and searching and whatnot, or what's going to happen there. But maybe it's not Young June that finds the money. Maybe it is the cops.
And yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm really, that would be a very quick turn of events. Like as much as I'm saying that, like may my Ling is playing these games, I'm just like they might find out that they both have a business going on, and that's gonna be, I wonder if he just gets the plates, that he'll leave the rest of them alone, or is he really gonna like bring the full force of the federal government onto the tongs, or maybe he might be corrupt. Who knows?
I have a sneaking suspicion that Mosley doesn't make it out of this season.
Ooh, ooh,
I don't think
me neither.
because because if he, let's say he does get, like, let's say he does find the money and he like captures Jean Me to
Hmm.
like spill the beans kind of thing. Assam finds out. Chow maybe helps him find out. Chow and Lee have a thing now. Lee's being pushed into a corner by Mosley. There's a lot of people now that are probably not with Mosley in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
He might push people a little too far.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, he might bite the dust on this one.
He could,
The
maybe.
it's a big possibility. I would give it maybe a 75 to 80% chance of him biting the dust. But I hope that he does it after he kind of gets Lee pardoned for for the murder charges. Like I
Would
really
you?
hope
Yeah.
that like he gets those pardoned, and then boom, that's it for Agent Mosley, because
Mhm.
his partner did not survive the first one, did not survive the first like 2 minutes of their episode. So
Mm-mm. Yeah, I think it was one of these episodes where I was like, oh, maybe he's gonna hire Lee, and maybe he wants him to be his full time partner and stuff like that. But then obviously the turn with Happy Jack happens,
mhm.
and yeah, it's not that he wants him as a partner; he just wants him for these plates. He'll help him, obviously if Lee helps him get the plates, he'll like you said, pardon him or do whatever he needs to do. But that's all he cares about. There is no wanting necessarily a new partner or anything like that. Probably didn't really care about his partner in the first place. He probably just, was just, hey, that's the dude that I'm working with. So that's why it's like, man, Lee and Chow and Assam and whoever else, maybe they all unite against Mosley, because he's not the greatest of people.
No, not at all. When he's tearing up the printer shop when the dude was having a heart attack, you kind of just be like, there's something wrong with this guy.
Yeah.
He's a
I
little
mean,
too much wanting these plates. I wonder why he
he,
wants these plates this bad.
and it may be just because literally it's just government and his job or whatever, and he takes his job extra seriously. Maybe it's just something like that. Um, but Mosley, I think he says it to Lee, something about his cheery personality. Don't like mistake it for, whatever. Like it sounds like he's very vindictive and very cold and calculating to a certain extent, and he's going to make sure to get those plates one way or another.
One way or another. Oh, sorry, my bad. Sorry, got into song there. Um, so one thing I do have is Walter. I don't know why
Oh, Buckley.
Buckley. Why do I forget his last name? I knew his first name. Hey, Buckley finally gets the managerial minute.
He does become
Mayoral
a
race.
manager. Yes, he
Yes, he
becomes a
becomes
manager,
becomes the
manager of the
manager
city.
of San Francisco, the manager of San Francisco, Walter Buckley, practically a manager because he's actually being controlled by a much higher entity with, well, I guess higher, which is Strickland. But it was an interesting conversation he had with Thayer. With Thayer walks up, he says, "You have no one to celebrate with. Look at you, no one to celebrate with, no one to have a drink and celebratory." Well, clearly, Thayer, you didn't know that. You were very wrong.
Oh,
he,
he celebrated.
uh, let's just say he celebrated extra that night. Not a drink though. So, with that, with Buckley really being the puppet to Strickland, do it's a weird situation for him because normally he's the marionette and he's playing with the puppets and things like that. I wonder how he's going to take being controlled by someone out. Really, all his decisions are going to have to go through Strickland, and I
Mhm.
wonder if this is going to cause a rift with maybe him and Catherine at some point. um I like I said, I thought Catherine was going to kill Thayer, or at least be the one to like get rid of Thayer out of the race, the
Yeah.
political race. And clearly I was wrong on that one. And I wonder if like that's going to cause a rift because she sees him as a powerful figure now, and but now she's probably going to find out that Strickland's really the one pulling the strings.
I wonder if it's like maybe she helps him figure out how to get out from underneath Strickland in some way. Like maybe it's something along those lines because yeah, I was expecting a turn with her character as of yet, and we haven't seen it so far. She seems just genuinely into Buckley and into him being mayor, and she was really having a ball at that celebration thing.
Okay.
So I don't, I don't know if there's something that would dissuade her from Buckley at this point outside of maybe the photograph and seeing that because like that could be the ticking time bomb for those two. Um, and then with Strickland and Leary, well, one Buckley is saying, "I didn't realize y'all knew each other." It was like, uh oh.
Oh yeah.
But I wonder with like Strickland, because like Buckley's gonna try and outlaw Chinese labor, but Strickland is trying to build this railway or whatever.
Mhm.
I don't know that he's gonna want that necessarily, and I don't. Correct me if I'm wrong. Has he ever outright said no about Chinese labor? Has Strickland said
No.
anything in regards to that?
I haven't heard anything. No, I haven't heard anything derogatory towards Chinese labor or Chinese people from him.
Yeah.
Really?
It's more about control and power and money at the end of the day for him.
Hmm.
And I think he saw again potential with Leary and all his votes that he controls and just who he can be. And again, relates to him being a fellow soldier and whatnot.
Hmm.
But I wonder because rich people, they just care about money.
Oh yeah.
And so if this railway thing is the most important thing, I don't think he cares who builds the thing. So I don't know that outlawing Chinese labor is going to make sense for Strickland, and I could see him, yeah, he is pulling the strings with Buckley, and Buckley, one of his main points was outlawing Chinese labor and da da da, and Strickland, I could see Strickland coming in like, nah, we're not doing that.
And that's going to start a rift between him and Leary, too. So like that's it's a lot of he's going to have a lot of heat on him coming towards him, especially at the around the end of the episode where we see Lai kind of sitting inside of the bushes waiting. She's gonna jump the gun. I'm gonna be so mad when she jumps this gun
She's
to try
probably
to
gonna
kill him.
jump the gun. Yeah, she's probably gonna jump the gun. I don't know if she's just specifically targeting his enforcer guy or if
Mhm.
she's going to target Strickland as well. But yeah, she's probably gonna jump the gun a little bit, but she's plotting.
Oh,
She's getting ready.
oh
She's
yeah,
gonna make her move sooner rather than later.
because her kicking the guy over that banister, I think that was like her thing saying, "Yeah, I'm ready. I don't know if you're ready, but I'm definitely ready because I just kicked that guy
Yeah,
into a table."
she did roundhouse kick that guy off the second floor. Like she is legit. But I think the thing with her is she's fueled by anger and you can't be like it is the fuel will last with anger, but you lose control
Hmm.
and that may bite her in the end in terms of control and like jumping the gun or something like that cuz you got to be smart about it cuz Strickland him and his goons are like all seemingly so far like 3 steps ahead of everybody else.
Hmm. And he seems like he won't kill her. He won't have her killed. He'll get something out of a toy or a Nelly, not Nelly. I'm sorry. Yeah, Nelly, out of a toy or Nelly with like Lie being like a hostage or something like that. It seems like he wouldn't go jump the gun to where I'm gonna kill you. Like her point is I want to kill all of y'all, and his is like I want power and money, more money. So Nelly, I heard you getting some more land out there. I want to build a railroad right on that
Mhm.
land too, and this is the
Mhm.
only way you can get her back. And I'm like, oh man, this is definitely gonna be a problem by the end of this season.
Yeah, because yeah, I hope nothing happens to Lie because I really like her character. I honestly would like more of her character because I find
Hmm.
her character very interesting. Um, but yeah, she's probably gonna jump the gun at some point, and we'll see. But depending on what Strickland now does with Buckley in power, yeah, Buckley's celebrating right now, but Strickland, like you said, he's pulling the strings. He's
Hmm.
probably going to pull the strings that undermine a lot of what Buckley was campaigning on. And again, like he said in what was it, episode 6 or 5, I forget which one, but he's like, I need a mayor I can control, and Buckley is that guy.
Oh yeah, that was yeah, he did. And I'm wonder. And now my biggest question for next episode, which I guess is the wedding, does Buckley go to the wedding?
No, I don't see him going to the wedding. It would be a very awkward person there at the wedding. Um yeah, I don't see him cuz I don't think he wants to establish any sort of like
Oh, that's true.
relationship that he knows Myling or anything like that. But I could see something to where, obviously Buckley, very celebratory in this episode, very happy in a lot of ways. But maybe the beginnings of Strickland pulling the strings happen in the next episode that lead him to no end.
Mhm.
And maybe Catherine is there to like help him figure out a way out from under Strickland somehow, some way.
That's why I think her role is about to be at the end of the day. She's going to be
Mhm.
like getting them out of this situation, and I wonder if Strickland survives this season. Also, um, probably won't because he's going to like maybe overplay his hand or underestimate someone. Like with the whole I think the first at the end of the first episode of the season, I think he overestimated those women at Sonoma. I mean, no, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
underestimated women at Sonoma, and got his peoples beaten back really. And I think that by the end of this season, he's going to underestimate a toy or Nelly at some point, and just that's the end of him. That to tell the truth. That's where I think his weakness is right now. Because it's the only weakness I really see from him.
He's definitely like I said, he feels like he's 3 steps ahead of everyone, but that may come as a detriment to him
Mhm.
because, yeah, he could very well, like, underestimate everybody. Um, I feel like he would underestimate Leary, and I think if he does Strickland does go, for Chinese labor and flips the script, I could see Leary not being a fan of that and just snapping at him. But of course, Strickland has basically all the cards right now. But Leary, like I mean, I could see that going either way, and him underestimating Leary in a lot of ways, or underestimating what Leary's willing to do.
Whew. Straight, he got a lot of. He doesn't understand. There's a lot of knives pointed at him. I don't think he understands that part.
He doesn't, but I think he's I don't know, I guess like egotistical, maybe the word.
Hmm.
Because he's insulated because of the power that he has, of the manpower that he has. Like he feels well protected, and I mean there is no discrediting. He is smart when it comes to playing the game, and again, like I said, I feel like he's 3 steps ahead of everyone. So he knows how to do it, but that cockiness may come into play in terms of undermining him. Because, or maybe it's not even cockiness that undermines him. It's just the fact that a toy and Lie, or maybe just Lie, go at him in a assassination type attempt.
Mm. Yeah, I definitely can't wait to see his end. I'm not gonna lie. He's such a
Well, he's like one of the
horrible
main,
character.
yeah, he's like one of the main people that's like just straight up villain on this show.
Hmm.
Like I feel like Chief Atwood is another one that's just like kind of straight up villain. Um, there's some villainous characters this season.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. And it's weird not seeing Kong in this episode either, kind of being I think
Yeah,
this is like one of the first episodes we didn't see him.
yeah, it was a definitely a break from
Mhm.
him, and then we still haven't seen Lee Young and Mei Ling play out since that marriage proposal engagement deal.
Mm.
Like when they hug again, I go back to the look that Lee Young gave. There's something more that's going to happen there, and he's going to rip the band-aid off at some point about something maybe the elders have agreed to or that they want or whatever. I don't know. We'll see, but yeah, something's gonna happen between Mai Ling and Lee Yong as well.
And it's going to happen during the wedding.
Could very well happen during the wedding or maybe right after or something like that.
Man,
I don't
I
know.
hope. I just want one wedding episode from like I guess a HBO/Max series to actually go right. Not like I don't know why they use those episodes to be the most brutal episodes, but
Yeah.
I'm very worried about
I
this.
I would be very concerned about weddings in general if they pertain to HBO type shows. It usually doesn't end well. So we'll have to wait and see. I think it's okay based off the trailer of the next like the preview of it, but I mean again it's only 30 seconds, so who knows if it ends up going very well or not. But yeah, it'll be an interesting wedding to say the least, especially if like Young June's there as well. And obviously Assam's been invited, a toy's been invited. um but does me like I feel like Ming Yu is a wild card in terms of I don't think he's done with a toy. I could see him going back after a toy in some way.
Hmm.
Um, there's definitely some problem people out there that could mess things up for the wedding.
And yeah, yeah, it's just way too many entities that can like really ruin this. And then you got the cops, so you got the bulls that's probably going to tear up the city, while literally all of the power structure of the city will probably be at this wedding. Like you'll just have like the regular like goons of both tongs be outside, either outside the wedding or back in their little hideouts and things like that. I think we're definitely going to have that type of we're going to have that type of drama happen where like you said earlier, like they might find the money, the counterfeit money that Yami was making. Yeah, I said it right. Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
And that she was making, and probably turn her against the Tongs. And now Assam's going to have a choice. Do I try to save? Do I try to kill her, save her? I hoping that we get. I'm thinking that's where the storyline's going to start taking place, especially with the counterfeit money.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to either with them showing it in this episode and showing where it's at, and some like, hey, don't take any more money, please don't take any more
Yes,
money. It's gonna come to a head. Somebody's gonna find that money.
that was.
It's either Mosley and Lee or Young June and some of the Hopway. One of those two are finding the money, and it's gonna put Assam in a precarious position because I think he'll do. I think again he'll do what's right and he'll protect her
Mm,
no matter what he can do. He'll find a way to protect her, because there's a strong relationship between the two. It's not. I don't really remember the relationship him and what was it, Penelope Blake had in the first
yeah.
season. I don't. I mean, I remember it, but I don't. So I can't fully compare it to that one.
Hmm.
But I think Yeon Mi sees the best in Assam and wants what's best for him, and is going to be that person to help him realize that. And I think she's an integral part in him understanding that he can be more than just who he is right now.
Yeah, that's where his character's kind of heading towards a hero, like the actual
Hmm.
hero for Chinese people. That's why I'm
Hmm.
kind of it's kind of I hope that he gets that character arc. I hope we get to see that. But did you have any other notes for this episode?
Let's see. I think we covered a lot of them. Let me look back. Cause oh, well, the one thing I did want to point out too, in the preview with
Mhm.
for that next episode, it does show Father June seemingly being of sound mind, talking to young June about like a psalm and everything. So
Ooh.
maybe maybe it's not that he's going or gone, like, you know, like maybe he's not deteriorating necessarily. Like maybe it was just a result of the blood loss or something along those lines. Or it could be a like an in and out thing, because like that's, I mean, that's honestly kind of how that thing happens. Like my grandmother, she was fine, and then next minute she wasn't, and then she was fine, then next minute she wasn't. So
Mhm.
maybe it's something like that with Father June as well. Um, yeah, I think that covers pretty much everything that I had.
Mhm.
Uh, the only other thing I guess I would want to just talk about briefly is that you see the, as we saw with the kids that beat up the white guy. Well, we see the kids from the pond. I say kids. They didn't look like kids. They look like grown men.
Mhm.
Um, and they steal from the grocer, and then obviously then the police arrest them, and then uh, the guys beat up that white guy. I get, was he one of the ones that stole, or no? Was he just a random white guy?
The one that was outside
Yeah, like he was
peeing?
going to,
Yeah.
yeah. Was he one of the ones that stole?
I think he looked like a random person that they just went and beat up.
That they just went and beat up, right? Yeah, I
Mhm.
didn't think he was one of the guys that stole. I thought he was just kind of random.
'Cau
Um, but
those guys went back to work.
yeah, yeah. So, and maybe, I mean, maybe I'm wrong or whatever, but like, whatever the case, they beat up that guy. But like, it's funny to see the mirror image of Leary like controlling his group and Assam controlling his group and doing it because he could have done it quietly, right? Like
Mhm.
Assam could have approached that kid quietly. No, he made it a point to do it at a toys and grab him basically by the scruff of his neck, slapped him around and stuff. And it was like, you're putting all of us in danger. And again, Assam sees the greater picture
Mhm.
than what this kid's seeing and stuff like that. And it's like, well, I was doing what you would do. Yeah, but no,
Mhm.
that was a stupid move. Like Assam is doing stuff differently, and I think he was helping teach that kid, like, you got to be smart about this, and you're putting us all in danger for them to try and start another riot or come down here or whatever and hassle us even more than they already are. As we've seen, the cops have been hassling them all season long, in really brutal ways. Looking at you, Chief Atwood.
Yeah,
um
that dude was
so
brutal.
yeah, so Assam making it a point to be public with his reprimand of the kid, I thought was interesting, because it also displays just the command of respect that he has in the community, and people listen to him. And then like when he says something about, if anything happens, I want to know about it or whatever, it was like, that's the leader of Chinatown. He just doesn't know it yet.
That's what he said. He said, "Yeah, I'm not the one controlling Chinatown." He said, "There's literally a 10-foot portrait down the street of you.
Yeah.
Clearly,
Yeah.
clearly, you're running this town."
You underestimate the power that you wield right now. Like, and like in that moment, like obviously Leary hates him and they hate Leary and all that, but like they I don't want to say it's a respect, but it's a mutual understanding of the
Mhm.
situation, and how they can't just do the riot again, because both sides lose in that case,
Oh
because
yeah.
the cops are just gonna beat up and arrest everybody, it seems like, at this point. Obviously, they go harder at the Chinese, but still, like, they it very much feels like Chief Atwood is not a friend of the Irish like the cops used to be. So
It, and with in that scene in the toys, that's Yan Mi's brother, right? That he beats. That's their brother.
I I believe so. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. I need to look back because I
Because
forget. It's been a while since I'd seen the brother, so
mhm,
I think you're right, but I'm not like 100% sure.
because when he said like you was during the riots, you were hiding inside the shop with your dad,
Yeah,
and
he
I was
does
like,
say that. Yeah,
oh, I was like,
yeah, that's right.
oh,
Yeah, so I think that is the brother.
and I like that they like I said in the beginning, like I'm happy that those two had a that actually talked and actually came to a mutual understanding. Like you stay out of my area, I'll stay out of yours. And
Hmm.
I also noticed something with Hung in that situation too. Like Hung unquestioned it didn't question it, didn't say anything else. What you want us to do? Tell everybody, they got to come answer to me. Okay. And then at the end of this episode, that this is probably my last of my notes, but at the end of this episode, he's talking to Young June about um Assam, and he's actually talking back, like kind of like having a discourse with Young June about Assam, like, yo, he would dice for you, like he would die or dice for you, doesn't matter.
Hmm.
And what at the end, like his words are going to get him in trouble because Young June talks about Assam doesn't have, it's supposed to be about the Hopway. He's supposed to be for the Hopway. Everything that he does is for the Hopway. And it seems like he's doing it for himself. And then literally not a couple sentences later, he says, but I need him to be loyal to me. I need people that are going to be loyal to me. And I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, this is a jealousy thing. This
Yeah.
is he's jealous that I think that the Hopway are kind of moving towards Assam being the boss, and I wish that we got more of an episode where it was him kind of controlling the Hopway while they were in jail, or like or Lee Young controlling Long Z. I wish we got a little bit more of that, but I like that there is this that I see that there's now this rift between Young June and Assam, and I think like we said earlier in the episode, he the father being shot, I mean Father June being shot, it might turn the tide of, all right, well, this is gonna turn into all out war between Assam and Young June. But at the end of this episode, it just feels like it's really a jealousy thing, that seeing that portrait of 10-foot portrait of Assam with the nunchucks, because at the beginning of no, at the end of last season, he sees the portrait and he actually spits towards the portrait while he's with
Mm.
Hung. And it just seems like that jealousy has really been building between Assam and Young June. And also, also from the last season, they were talking about how really Assam's been the one telling Young June to do everything. How it seems like Assam's been the one really running the tongue when Father June was going through his after he got blown up. It seemed like
Mhm.
Hassan was the one really running the show. So it seems like this jealousy is really just starting to build, and Hong kind of respects. It seems like that it Hong's in the middle, but Hong is really towards Assam more than anything else. But I think the Hop Way has a lot more respect for Assam, but the problem is that the secession really relied on Young June being the boss.
Yeah.
So I really think that that's where this whole riff is really going to really come to the head, is just really the jealousy of Young June towards Assam, and he's just a really emotional about that.
Oh, very much so. And the rift is, yeah, it's slowly been building, slowly been growing. But yeah, the Father June being shot and put in danger, that's, I think it's really cracked the relationship. And young June is going to start putting people on notice that they're loyal to him, and he's the one that runs things. Hong, I think can relate more to Assam and what he's wanting and stuff. And when push comes to shove, I could see him going more with Assam. Um, and I don't know. We'll wait and see. But yeah, because Assam does command a lot of respect for what everything that he's done for fighting for the people, for fighting Leary, for fighting the Long Z, like, and multiple times by himself. Like he's willing to scrap with the best of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna cause a major problems. And Young June and Assam are definitely on a collision course.
Oh, for sure. I think it's going to be what people would think is probably for the control of the Hop Way, but I think it's really coming down to the control of Chinatown.
Yeah.
at the end of the day. I think the
Yeah.
Hopway really control a lot of influence there, so it's really going to just be that control.
Yeah, definitely so. It could very well be that. And if Assam does take up leadership in the Hopway, like maybe it's more of a making them less of a just straight up gang and more of a protectors, if you will, of Chinatown. But that a lot of that would depend on Mai Ling and where she falls into the situation because she's gonna want power no matter what it seems like, and she's always playing a game to come out ahead. So where does she fall? Who knows? Because she's obviously put her tongue in different situations that have presented problems and leaving the elders questioning, and Kong Pak being in Lee Young's ear. I mean, there's things boiling there too.
I can't. Man, this show just like it just seems so many those strings that, and now they're starting to pull a little bit too. Those strings are starting a little bit, it's getting there, getting to the
Mhm.
point where we're just going to start seeing the end of these strings. I cannot wait for this season finale too. I think it's
Right?
going to be
Yeah.
wild.
We
Oh, it's
have,
going to be wild.
I think we got episode 8, 9, 10. Like, we got 3 episodes left, so
I definitely think maybe Atwood and Mosley don't survive episode 9. I think that the Strickling comes to a head in episode 10. Now
I
I
could
don't know
see
how.
yeah, I could see Atwood not necessarily dying, but definitely getting kicked out
Hmm.
and, like, leaving the city or something like that. Mosley, I think that one's gonna be a live or die kinda situation, with the way he's pushing everybody.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then I don't know that Young June and Assam come to life and death, but it definitely, like, festers into a brawl of some kind, and maybe, like you mentioned, maybe Yeon Mi is in the crosshairs at that point, and maybe she's the one in danger, by Young June or by someone else.
Man, this is it's too much.
Mhm.
It's too much for me. I can't. They what they should have did. No, I'm joking. I like that we have kind of an appointment viewing with this show. I
Yeah.
actually like that. You can talk about it each week and like, man, just guessing, really just guessing right now. I really like that. Um,
Yeah, it's definitely appointment viewing for me. It's the best show for me that's out right now.
oh yeah, I'm glad there's not people spoiling it, but also like that means that hopefully the fandom starts to get a lot bigger. But I'm just glad people aren't spoiling it. So, was it Thursday nights? I got stuff
Yeah.
to do. I work, but
Yeah, I don't know if they release the episodes at, like, 2 AM like Disney Plus does or anything like that, but, yeah, I'm glad it's not like a situation where I have to necessarily worry about spoilers, but I definitely do wanna keep banging the drum for Warrior because I feel like it's such an underrated show, and it doesn't I feel like doesn't get the marketing that it deserves, so, also, I wanna beat the drum for the show because I want a 4th season, I want a 5th season, so I want this thing to work out and hopefully, we get another one because like, nowadays, you just never know. If you don't get the numbers, you're written off, and it's just
mhm.
it's a dicey times that we're living in terms of entertainment and whatnot, so
Especially all these strikes and everything, you never know. It's because like
yeah.
get kind of like a hero situation.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it very well could, so hopefully not. We'll have to wait and see where it goes from here, but yeah, it's
it,
tough, man. It's tough.
yes, it is. Do you have any other notes for tonight for today?
No, that's all I have, but feel free to comment below if we missed anything and let us know. Like, hey, another Shannon Lee cameo of some kind, or just whatever, just let us know. Feel free to comment below.
Because I went and looked at her pictures and everything. I was like, wow, that was Shannon Lee. Oh,
I
I
had
was
no
so
idea.
mad. Oh, I was so mad at myself. I didn't know it was his 50th anniversary of his death too. It's like, wow, wow. It's
God, I
just
can't believe it's been 50 years. It's a man.
I think his son's almost. I think we're approaching 20 years with Brandon Lee passing away,
Oh, is it
or at least
20 or
30 years,
yeah, I was gonna say it might be 30. It's gonna be a while because I think what was that, 95 or something around there?
something
It's been a
around there.
while.
Was it the Crow where he got
Yeah.
shot? Yeah.
Yeah.
So So that is the Warrior Cast for today, episode 7 of season 3 of Warrior Cast. Well, yeah, well, Warrior Cast, well, Warrior, episode 7, season 3, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. But with that, I would like to say, thank you for joining us today. And Michael, did you have anything coming up?
I do. I just really quickly want to say Brandon Lee died March 31st, 1993. So it's been 30 years since his death, which is, man,
Goodness.
yeah, it's wild, man. It's time. Oh, man. Um, on a happier note, you can follow me on all your favorite social media platforms. Uh, at producer Mike 975. And then you can check out Comic Cast, the podcast I host with Jong Lee. You can check that out on all your favorite podcast platforms, COMICAST. And we will be releasing issue 496 on Tuesday. No Jong Lee on that episode. It'll be Alicia Gilstorf of Telltale TV joining me to talk all things Secret Invasion. So full spoilers for that show. If you haven't seen the season or series finale, it's definitely going to be an interesting one because that finale was interesting.
Um, yeah, that's all I'm going to say about Secret Invasion. I'm That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not. You know what? I'm not going to spoil anything for Comicast. I just want to say wasn't a fan. Okay, I was a fan for the first episode. I was like, all right, first episode, we're doing good. Okay, cool. And then yeah, but please go listen to Comicast because they definitely break it down way better than I could. And also
No,
watch the TV show because it's interesting to say the least.
it's my review. Just a sigh, just a deep sigh. That's all you need.
And then also go check out Michael's article. What was the site again?
It's on Substack. If you want to subscribe to my writings on Substack, I just released my first big piece this past Tuesday. Why you should watch Warrior. If you want to subscribe to it, just search Thoughts from a Nerd or just search my name, Michael Carroll, or I believe producer Mike 975 as well. Like, feel free, any of those options. But yeah, you can subscribe on Substack. It's free. I don't charge. I can't charge for writing. No. So it's free if you want to take a read.
All right. Definitely go check out Substack. It's very, very well. It's a very good article, really convincing you to go and check out this show. If you're not fully convinced by the podcast, you definitely probably get fully convinced by the writings of Michael Carroll for sure. And I had one more thing I wanted to talk about real quick. I heard
Yeah.
it on your show.
Yeah.
Do you like the My Adventures of Superman?
Yeah, I do. I like it so far.
Ah, okay, thank you.
You don't
All
like
right,
it?
good. I love it.
Oh, okay,
I
good.
I
Okay.
like it because it gives me the drawings give me like Scooby Doo vibes, like the
Mm,
Scooby Doo vibe
mm-hmm,
from the old school Scooby Doo. But like I
mm-hmm.
like that it's a different take on Superman. I just wanted to talk about that for a second because I heard you talk about it. I was like,
Yeah,
nobody said anything about this show yet, and I thought I was the
it's
only
good.
one watching it.
No, it's good. I like it. It's a fun show. It's different from Harley Quinn. That one's more like straight up adult animated, which nothing wrong with that. It's just this one's very much more lighthearted. Young 20 something Clark Kent, young 20 something Lois Lane, like they're in their early days of their press careers and their relationship, and it's like it's developing and all that, and it has like it has some strong, I feel like, anime influences so far with
Hmm.
some of the character designs and like the way uh Clark becomes Superman at one point and the way his like suit kind of manifests on him. People have put it in comparison with Sailor Moon, which is very an apt comparison, it turns out. So it's just a fun, like lighthearted show. Like if you want something fun, lighthearted, you're not trying to see like craziness or whatever. Like you're not like Warrior can be heavy. Like this
Hmm.
one is just a fun animated 30 minute episodes with Jack Quaid and Alice Wong, I believe is the voice actress for Lois Lane. But Jack Quaid, you may know him from The Boys. I'm trying to think what else he's done. I mean, he was in what's it called? Oppenheimer just this past week. I mean, he's been in a lot of stuff, but um, yeah, it's a good show. It's a very fun uh, animated adventure.
I'm just happy I wasn't alone watching this. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of excited about this. I'm like, I normally don't like Superman content, but like, I was like, I'm gonna check this out, and it was caught me. It was good. It was really good to me. I really enjoy it.
Uh,
Yeah, like you said, the anime influence. Yes,
Yeah,
definitely
it
anime
like
influence.
the robots in the first episode and some of the other elements, like, I haven't seen the most recent episode just yet, but, episode 4 with the adaptation of what they did with Amazo and Parasite in a sense, like,
Mm.
it felt very anime, with the designs and choices and whatnot, which was fun. I mean, it's different, and I like that about it. And the actress is Alice Lee. Sorry,
Alice
let me
Lee.
correct that. Alice Lee. She's the voice actress for Lois Lane, and she's great. It's a good cast too. It's really
Oh
good.
yeah, and the Black Jimmy Olsen. Yeah,
Yeah,
inclusion.
Jimmy's Jimmy's great. I want to say Phil
Phil
Lamar in this
Lamar.
show? I believe he's in this show. Is he Jimmy Olsen? I don't know. I need to look at the cast, but yeah, the voice actors are phenomenal so far.
All right. Well, that was the nerd minute with with the yeah. So with that, that is the show today. That was Warrior Cast, where you can find the Cruising Podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Patreon, YouTube, and anywhere else you can find your podcast needs. That's where you can find the Cruising Podcast. Also, you can find latest updates of the show is on Instagram at Cruising Podcast, also on Twitter at Nicetown Finest. And make sure, don't forget, go to Substack. Michael Carroll. I'm going to definitely have the information on the description of the episode. So, all you got to do is click the link and you read a nice, beautiful article about this show, Warrior. And with that, I like to say, I love you guys. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Catch you guys later. Deuces. Where is